Well, friends, today I have come with a specific reason. As I was approached by many students that they don't get any notes in English language for assistant professor in political science. The exam, which is going to be held in December this year or next year, uh, in the first part of the year. So they were worrying that whether they can get a English medium note. Well, I am happy to announce that we have prepared a 10 book English notes for English medium students. As you must be aware that in our app of called Weather app, we have already uploaded 10 books of Hindi medium for assistant professor examination. This 10 book compendium was created by us and is very popular amongst the students. Now, what we have done is not only translate them but also reorganize them and declutter them. The notes which were written in Hindi, now we have translated in English, keeping in mind the importance of certain elements which are necessary for English medium students. So certain things are added into that and certain things are cut down. So you can say that it is something new for English medium students. There are two specific characteristics of these notes. One is that it is more systematic and the language is very simple, and most of the notes are written in point form, in the sense there are in certain topics I have also given a short essay to explain that topic in detail. Although it is called short essay, somewhere it is called detailed analysis, somewhere it is called essay, but that is basically a running material to understand the interconnection of different aspects of a political of a concept. But it is very systematic. That is one thing. Like any topic you can take, I have given what is this topic. For instance, let's take example of liberty, the concept of liberty. Now, what is liberty? Who were the first champions of liberty? How many types of liberties are there? How liberty is defined by different thinkers and at different in different ages? What are the limitations? What are different contradictory interpretation of liberty? What types are there? And in the last, what are the contemporary approach towards liberty? So you can see that while dealing with the one topic like liberty or rights or anything else, I have tried to comprehend the subject or the topic in very vast manner and also try to give a very systematic presentation of that topic in the given notes. So the first characteristic of the notes is that not only it is vivid, it is comprehensive, but it is also systematic. The second thing is, which I believe is very important, is that in most, not all, but in most of the topics, I have also dealt with the important books or important contribution of my thinkers, their important books, and gave a brief summary of that book. Like for instance, you talk about Robert Dahl in Democracy. He wrote many books, but one of the books is Who Governs. Now, that is an important book. Now I have given a brief summary of that. You can we can talk about Political System by David Easton. Now that is very important book because David Easton is very important thinker. So I have given the summary of that book. What is written in those chapters. You can talk about John Rawls. or Robert Nozick. Their books are also very important. John Rawls' important book is A Theory of Justice. Robert Nozick has given Anarchy State in Utopia, and I have summarized these two books in there wherever it is required. I also summarized one of the most talked about book, or which I always recommend for modern political theory, is a book by S.P. Verma, Modern Political Theory. I have given detailed description of the book also, because sometimes the book is not available. Especially in Hindi medium, I have given a detailed description, but I also translated into English for English medium student also, because I think if you read that description, then only those portions which are important for you, you can go and read that in the book. You don't have to go through all chapters of the book, but those chapters which are important for your examination, you can always find out from my summaries. So there in different sections, I have given summaries of important books which have contributed immensely for the development of that particular subject or particular topic. Now the 10 books system is evolved by me, and why it is so, I firmly believe, which I have talked to you many times, that political science subject, with my experience of 35 years of teaching political science, 37 years, I believe that political science in India can be divided, the subject or the syllabi can be divided into 4 sections. One is broadly we can call political theory. That includes Western political thinkers. That can also include Indian political thinkers if we want. That includes, excuse me, all the concepts that define political science, and all the ism or ideologies or theories, whatever you may call. You can call democracy a theory, you can call it ideology, you can call it ism. You can call liberalism a theory, the theory of a state. You can call liberalism as an ideology. You can say no, it is simply ism. It is an ideology. It is also a political theory, or in one sense it is also a concept. So all these things are included in the one section that is called political theory. You can call it political thought theory, whatever you might say, and all the Western thinkers. Second portion is comparative politics. That includes both the comparative governments and actual politics, comparison of actual politics, which means that we should be aware of at least four constitutions: American, British, French, and Swiss. These 4 are the basis of any comparison. And then fifth is sometimes it is China, sometimes it is Japan, sometimes it is South Africa, sometimes it is Canada. That is added. But the 4 constitutions are necessary or essential to study any comparative politics. I am not including India in this, because India we are going to study in a separate paper. So first in my books, I have first described the constitutions of these countries, the current constitution by which these countries are governed, and the authorities mentioned in the constitution, like executive, legislature, and judiciary. What are the forms they have? What are their relationship? How we define them, whether they are presidential, parliamentary, unitary, federal, or whatever way in which we define them. Their legislature, which is parliament or senate or whatever you may call, it's executive, president or prime minister or something else. So 4 constitutions, 5th is optional, you can add, and their practice in the sense how these countries are actually governed. They are actually governed by their presidents or prime ministers or political parties and pressure groups and electoral system. So I have dealt with all these things. So that is the second paper. Then in second paper also, because comparative politics it is a recent phenomenon, especially came into existence after Second World War, when the new countries were born. There are many approaches which have come up to study different countries, because all different countries have different political systems. So how to equate them and how to put them into same shelf. So for that, new terminology was invented. You know those the terminology by Almond, Verba, Coleman, Easton, and these are called approaches which you may name as political system, structure, functionalism, political development, political culture, political socialization, communication theory, something like that. So all these things are also included in the study of comparative politics. The third is Indian government and politics. Because we are Indian, so we should know about our own constitution and our own political system. So Indian constitution is a must. Then how it came into existence, the history of making of Indian constitution, the Constituent Assembly, what were the major debates in the Constituent Assembly, what are the features of our Indian constitution, the important features we know, the preamble we should study first, then fundamental rights and directive principles and president and prime minister and parliamentary system and federalism and state system, panchayati raj and all the democratic decentralization. These are the structural or legal framework of Indian politics. Then we have the actual politics, in which we have to study national political parties, regional political parties, pressure groups, socio-political movements, and because we belong to Rajasthan, so some part of something we should know about our Rajasthan. So how Rajasthan is formed, what are the compulsions of Rajasthan politics, what happened in Rajasthan politics in the last 70 years, and different socio-economic or political movements which affected Rajasthan politics, and the determinants of Indian politics as well as Rajasthan politics: caste, class, religion, regionalism, etc. And also some important persons who have studied Indian politics, like Rajni Kothari, like Rudolph, and like many others who have studied Indian politics, Maurice Jones, for instance, C.P. Bhambre, and others. The fourth section is of you can say is international politics. Now, international politics is divided into, in my opinion, it is three parts basically. How you look at it, it's our concern. One is approach. There are many approaches which have come to study how to study international politics. So many approaches have come into existence, like idealist, realist, dependency theory, Marxist, structuralist, functionalist, and many others. So one part is that what are these approaches, what are their basic understanding, how we apply that, who have applied these approaches to study international politics, and how we apply them, and what are the results of that approach, what is the outcome. Then we also have international organizations. There are different international organizations, begin with UNO. Then there are many small regional organizations which are important, which play an important role in deciding the future of international politics or even present of international politics, like BRICS, like ASEAN, like African Organization of African Unity, etc. Then we have international relations. In the sense ki how we look at the international relations actually. It means that we should know about the history of international relations or politics since Second World War. So we start with Cold War, end of Cold War, data, then American dominance, then what are its features, plus points, minus points, etc. And the last is India's foreign policy. What are the ingredient of Indian foreign policy? How Indian foreign policy has resulted into relations of India, USA, India, Russia, India, and its neighbors and others. So these are the four broad category or divisions of political science, and these four are written in the syllabus, in different syllabus, in different ways. So what I have done is that I have combined these four and doubled them. Particularly for this examination, what I have done is that I go strictly by the syllabus which is given by the RPSC. In RPSC, there are 10 topics, you can say, and on the basis of that 10 topics, I have framed 10 books. And in these 10 books, you can find these 4 subsections or sections of political science. If you read them, analyze them, if you have any question, you can ask in my video, in my app, because in app there is a provision for chatting also. Any queries about that, you can see. These are uploaded today, and I hope that you will be greatly benefited by these first time English notes for RPSC Assistant Professor Political Science. ठीक है, thank you very much.